Assalamu alaikum. This is Farooq Ahmed Siddiqui students. We are starting this topic of transformations of function. This is a part of your P1 syllabus. A new topic which has been added from 2020 in the syllabus. This video is made mainly to cover the basic idea of transformation, which is a part of P1 syllabus, along with some practice question, the concept. The video is comprehensive and brief. I will go fast. If you feel that I'm moving very fast, you can pause the video wherever you want. You can take the notes, then you can run the remaining part of the video and try to complete the whole lecture. I am positive that after doing or completing this whole lecture, you get a very clear idea about the concept of transformation. So starting with the basic idea, uh, we have to discuss basically these three types of transformation in our syllabus. That is, the first one is known as translation. Translation means actual movement without changing the orientation and the shape. So we have to study either translation horizontally, rightward or leftward, or vertically, upward or downward. That's it. No other translation. Or can be a combination of both. An object or graph or function has been moved rightward and then upward or leftward and then downward and so on. The second is reflection. Again, we have only two types of reflection, in the x-axis and in the y-axis. No other in the part of syllabus. And thirdly, the stretch, or you can say stretches, and some authors use the word compression also. Stretch and compression. We discussed in detail why you have this word compressions also. So again, stretches parallel to x-axis and parallel to y-axis. And one more possibility, that you have a combination of more than one transformation, that is two or more transformation. This is the outline. This is your learning objective of this lecture, and at the end of the lecture this would be your checklist. Now starting with the first type, translation, and I'm starting with the concept of vertical translation. I would like to clear one thing at the beginning. The best technique to learn the concept of function is the graphical approach. If you have watched my first video on function, there also I emphasized on this concept, that is, please learn basic graphs. Graphs of linear function, graphs of quadratic function, graphs of trigonometric functions, cubic function, and 1 over x and 1 over x squared, that is the reciprocal function. These few graphs you should learn for P1 syllabus. So if you have good idea about the sketches and the graphs, the topic is like a piece of cake. Now suppose I have function fx. Any function that can be linear. I've shown a straight line, linear here, or any function. If you're adding something to the function, just a constant part being added to the function, this shows the vertical shifting upwards, positive shifting upwards. And in case of the vector representation, you write 0 because 0 shows x is 0. There is no movement horizontally right now, and just movement vertically. This part is x and this part is y. This shows translation horizontally, and the second number shows translation vertically. So 0k means vertically upward translation. To learn the vector representation also, if you see in the graph like this, if I replace this k value here, suppose this is -3 coming to 2, it means the whole curves have been shifted 5 units up. So I can write fx plus 5 as the transformation in this case. Like if I have to subtract some number from the function, it means vertically downward shifting. And how to show the vector? With the negative sign for y, 0, -c. This shows vertically downward movement. So please focus on the graphs also, and this property is equally valid for every graph. It can be linear or trigonometric or quadratic or cubic, and whatever you have in the scope of P1 syllabus. Now if I give you some numerical example like this, some numbers there, a function is quadratic here, x squared minus 3, now being added. It means I want to move the whole function 4 units vertically up. See the vector here, the graph is quadratic. You see the turning point at 0, -3. When you add 4, it will go to 1. And this way the function has been shifted vertically upwards by 4 units. This is called vertical translation. Similarly, if it is x square minus 3, the same graph, but you need to do the translation fx minus 2 moving downwards. So moving downward means the vector here have negative sign with this 2, and the whole function moves downward like this. Every point moves downward. So the shape remains the same orientation, but you have a translation there, the vertical translation. Now, what about horizontal translation? Here you see I have changed the domain. I've added or subtracted something in the domain. In this, you need to pay attention for one important thing. That is, whenever you have a sign negative here, it moves oppositely. That is, shift to the right. And when you write the vector, you put the sign positive here. This vector shows the actual translation. Positive means rightward, negative means leftward. But when you input the domain, you have to use the opposite sign like this. Suppose I have function straight line 2x minus 3. This is the intercept minus 3. I have the gradient 2. Now if it is fx minus 1, instead of fx, I've written fx minus 1. It means the vector should be 1, 0. The whole curve should be moved 1 unit towards right. It means I have to move the whole curve towards right. And you see now the intercept comes at negative 5. If I simplify this, replacing x by x minus 1, 2 into x 2x, 2 into negative 1, and then negative 3 become negative 5. This way you get the new function after being translated by the factor 1 towards right. The vector is 1, 0. Similarly, students, if you have a positive sign here, not negative but plus with domain, this shows you are moving towards left, the function being shifted towards left. Note down these important features. You may pause the video at this stage, take the notes, do some examples. If you have any query, then you can post your query, your question in the comment section with this video. You see here, and if I show the numerical value, that is a function here 2x minus the same straight line. If it is f of x plus 4, when I write x plus 4, it means the translating vector is negative 4 here. That should be negative 4, 0, and the whole function should move towards left like this. You see this point has been moved towards left by 4 units. This way you can show the horizontal translation. Note down the technical points in this case. Now, I've changed the function quadratic x square. If I want x square plus 3, it means this will move towards left. You see the vector here minus 3, 0. And you can check this concept. In the original function, fx is equal to x square means y is equal to x square. If x is 0, y is 0, see here. But if I am now changing x by 3, this shows at what value of x, y is 0, obviously is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 3, you're getting 0. It means if you're writing plus 3, but the actual function is to be shifted towards left, and the vector is minus 3, 0. Note down this property, please, about the horizontal translation. If it is negative 3 here, the vector shows 3, 0. It is to be shifted towards right. Horizontal translation towards right like this. Hopefully the idea is clear to all of my students. You may pause the video here and just run through this part of translation one more time before moving forward. Now what about if we have both combined translation, that is both vertical and horizontal? If I show in step by step, for example, if it is fx plus 3, this shows moving towards left. You see the negative sign here, and then plus 2 means moving towards up. If I apply both together like this, this is the new function fx plus 3, f of x plus 3 plus 2. See the steps, please. First moving towards left by minus 3, then moving upwards by 2. And you see the turning point here. I'm sure all of you have done the chapter of quadratics. Turning point here minus 3 is 2, and see here the same turning point minus 3, 2. You should know how to write the stationary point or turning point coordinates in case of quadratics. Now another example, if it is a function is original x square, but now I have the translation x minus 3 horizontally. You see here the positive value, and then minus 2 vertically downward, and you can write as combined transformation in this form. You should learn this language also, because in examination this can be asked, write the new function. So how to express that new function? If it is vector 3 minus 2, you write here x minus 3 and minus 2, and replacing here x by x minus 3, and you subtract 2 from the function, you get this and this step. These are the two steps. The final graph is this red one is the final graph. This is about the concept of translation, vertical and horizontal both. Now I've selected a question from the recent exam paper 2020. A diagram is there. You see both shapes are same but change in positions, and very clearly it is obvious here. We have both vertical translation as well as translation horizontally. If I select a point, suppose this, and this point comes here, it means it has to move 1 2 3 4 units towards left, 4 towards left, minus 4, then 1 2 3 towards down, minus 3. This is your vector, minus 4 minus 3. And how can you show in terms of f? You need to write plus sign here, because you have to use this sign opposite to the translation in case of horizontal translation, or you may write in the vector form, but in the requirement is clearly mentioned, state in terms of f. To earn 2 marks you have to write this line only, that's it. Plus 4 with domain and minus 3 with the whole function. This was the question. It was asked in last year exam 2020. Now moving forward, next type is reflection in the x-axis. Reflection in the x-axis works like a mirror. We use the word here invariant line, that is any point on the x-axis during this process of reflection will not be affected. And how to represent in the function that reflection part? You put a negative sign before the function. Please see this negative sign, a negative sign before the function, that will show reflection in the x-axis. For example, if a function sine x, but when I say minus sine x, this is a graph of sine x. But when I say minus sine x, I show just reflection. This graph should be removed, and that is the negative sine x. Reflection of function in the x-axis, it is shown with the negative sign before the function, like this. You see the invariant point remains same. This green part goes down and this green part goes up, and you have the reflection in the x-axis. What about reflection in the y-axis? Here you need to show negative sign with the domain like this, and y-axis become the invariant line, that is this point on the y-axis remains unchanged, this point remains unchanged. This small line comes here, reflection, and that line comes there, and you have complete reflection in the y-axis, and the y-axis works like a mirror here. Treat y-axis like a mirror. See the diagram. Get the idea clear, get the representation clear, where we should put the negative sign. Is that clear? Now, more examples. I have a function of quadratic x squared plus 1. Now negative sign means reflection in the x-axis. So this part 1 comes here, this part 2 goes down, this part also goes down. You see the new graph is something like this. Reflection in the x-axis. A very simple idea, keep the x-axis as a mirror and draw the mirror image. Complete reflection. And how to represent the negative sign? Learn this negative sign. Similarly, if it is reflection in the y-axis, that would be a negative with domain. This negative, see this negative with the domain. So I have to replace all x by negative, that is negative x square is x square, 2 into negative x minus 2x plus 1, and that function is something like this, a reflection. You can do one more thing. In examination, examiner may ask, for example, examiner can give you two diagrams, one with fx, one with gx. Examiner may ask, write down two possible transformations to transform fx to gx. So one is this, that is gx is equal to f of negative x. That's fine. And other, you see, if you simply slide horizontally the blue graph, it will be on the position of green graph. If you simply slide it, that is, I can show the same transformation in the form of translation also. That is, gx can be written as f of, you see, from -1 we are at 1, movement of 2 units. So how should I write? X minus 2. You got the idea? But the point is, the same transformation can be expressed in two ways, in two possibilities, and that can be asked in examination without giving you any function title, just saying fx and gx, without telling you whether it's quadratic or linear or any type. You need to write the possible transformation. Here it is possible, f of negative x, reflection in the y-axis, and the translation horizontally with the vector 2, 0. Hopefully the idea is clear. You can pause the video here. You can repeat this slide before moving forward. Now again, I've selected a question from the past paper 2020 on reflection and translation. This question contains both reflection and translation. If you feel I am moving fast, then you can pause the video, because this is my objective to complete this topic within 45 to 50 minutes. So if you feel I'm moving fast, you can pause the video and you can repeat that part, then go ahead. You can send your question in the comment option along with this video on this Facebook page, so we can reply you if you have any query about this chapter or this topic. Now function is there, 3/2 cos 2x plus 1, and examiner asking range. If you have watched my first video, I've defined their range means the y values. This is the range. The least value of cos you have done in trigonometry chapter is -1 times 3 minus 3/2 plus half. Minus 3/2 plus 1 minus 2/2 is -1. The least is -1. The maximum value is of cos, you know it is 1. 1 into 3/2 is 3/2 positive. Plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4/2. 4/2 is 2. The highest is 2. You got the idea? So what is the range of this function? Just 2-mark answer. And the examiner saying state. You don't need any working to show here. You can just write this range, -1 to 2. That's it. Range of this function. Similarly, the next part is there. Now, if that function is moved, and you see k means vertical translation and forming a new function gx, and so that x-axis become the tangent, that is the new function somewhere like this, comes here like this. It has to move upward. State the value of k. It's very obvious. If it is -1 and coming at 0, it means the value of k is 1. It has been moved 1 unit upward. The vertical translation, you may write in this way also, 0, 1. Then examiner is asking, describe fully transformation that maps f, this is f and this is gx, f to gx. What is the translation here? How we can describe? You can write the vertical translation upwards by 1, and then you show the vector. That's it. This we can describe. The vertical upward translation by 1, or vertical upward shifting by 1, and write this vector. That's it. This way you write the answer of part 2, vertical translation, vertical shifting. Now next part, one more part of this question. State the equation of the curve in which reflection in the x-axis, that is whole curve, has been reflected, something like this, a rough diagram here. Reflection in the x-axis, this 2 comes here at -2, this -1 goes here at 1, This way and these 2 points remain same because of invariant line. Examiner is asking about the equation, and we have learned in the last slide, when you reflect in the x-axis you put negative sign before the function. So a function was this 3 by 2 cos 2x plus half. If I put negative sign here, I get minus 3 by 2 cos 2x minus half. That's it. This way you get 1 mark and you get the value of a and b. Hopefully the idea is clear. Again, this question was asked in 2020. My advice to all of my students, please go through the chapter given in the book published by Cambridge University Press. The topic is covered in detail in that book, a very good material. Please use that book. There are 2 books there, a course book and a practice book. The P1 course book and P1 practice book. There's no time to cover the whole book right now, but if you just cover this chapter from that book, you will learn a lot about functions. Now the last type is stretches. How to treat or how to deal with the stretches. That is, if you are multiplying a function by a constant number like this, it means you are stretching the function vertically, or you can say parallel to y-axis. In that case, x-axis becomes invariant line. Now see the graph. I've used a very basic level graph, which is sine graph, and all of you know the shape of sine graph. And suppose if I say 3 sine x, what does it mean? I have put this number in front of the function. It means the distance of every point, I treat that point as object from the x-axis, now becoming thrice. That is, this gap is 1, now coming to here 3. Whatever this gap is here, coming to here. Whatever this gap here, it goes thrice, and so on. But the points on the x-axis remains invariant, unchanged. This gap, which is 1, now goes down at 3. So the distance from the x-axis is thrice of the original distance. So if I use the word image after transformation, so I can say the distance of image is thrice of the distance of the object from the x-axis. I repeat, distance of the image is thrice of the distance of the object. Object means the original function from the x-axis. Hopefully the idea is clear. And how to show this? You write that number before the, whenever you see this number, this shows stretch, vertical stretch. So this is stretch vertically. Please repeat this part and get the idea clear, okay, how to do stretching. And in stretching you have a change in the shape also, because these points are invariant on the x-axis. Clear? Another example, if I have half of fx. In some books, some of the authors use the word compression when stretch factor is less than 1. In the last case, the stretch factor is 3. I use the word stretch factor. Here the stretch factor is half. You see this word stretch factor, and we are moving parallel to y-axis. Why? Because we are writing half in front of the function. So every gap from the axis reduced to half. This point comes here, this point comes here, these points on the invariant lines unchanged, and you see you have this new shape. This way you have the stretching. Hopefully the idea is clear how to do the stretch. We may use the word compression. So we take the ratio of the image to the object from the x-axis when we talk about the parallel to y-axis stretching or the vertical stretching. In this case, you have the invariant line x-axis. Now next is horizontal stretch or stretch parallel to x-axis. How to represent this? You write a number, this factor with domain. You see here ax, not with function. But the stretch factors won't be this a or c, that is its reciprocal. Note down this important observation. In case of horizontal translation, in case of horizontal stretching, your factor or the vector is always opposite. Like in translation, when you added that moving towards right, you put the negative sign, right? When you put the negative sign in translation, it means movement towards right. When you put positive sign, it moves towards left. Same is here. If it is being multiplied, the stretch factor is reciprocal. If it is 2x here, stretch factor is 1 upon 2. Note down this key feature, how to read horizontal stretch or stretch parallel to x-axis. Like here the graph of cos x, graph of cos x, and I want cos 2x, that is stretch factor is half. This means we are stretching or compressing horizontally. Gap of every point from this O now reduced to half. You see, from here to here, this was the position. This gap, this whole gap now reduced to half here, coming to this. Every point. You see here, there was only one cycle. You see one complete graph in the function. But when you write 2x, you reduce this to half. One cycle at the half period and one more cycle in the remaining half period. Is that clear? So whenever you do stretching horizontally, your stretch factor is always reciprocal of this number. Note down the difference in the writing. When you write the stretch factor, always write reciprocal in case of horizontal stretch or stretch parallel to x-axis, and your y-axis remains invariant line. My suggestion or advice is repeat this part, repeat this slide, because this is somewhat technical. Moving ahead. Now when we combine transformations, so you should learn few rules for these. When we combine translation, there are three possibilities. When we combine transformation, there are three possibilities. We may have both vertical transformations, vertical stretch, vertical translation. We may have both horizontal translation. We may have one vertical transformation and one horizontal transformation. So the rules you should learn like this. In this case, this A is vertical stretch parallel to y-axis. In this case, vertical translation, both vertical. Here you apply the normal arithmetic rule. Multiplication first, then add or subtract. So what should we do? We first apply the stretch part, then we apply the translation part. Please see the flow chart. And finally, we get this figure. But how to perform, how to show the graph? In this order. First stretch, the multiplication part, and then translation. I can say we apply normal order of mathematics, or you can say the Bodmer's rule. Bodmer's rule in the case when both are vertical transformations. Please note down this, when both are vertical transformations. If both transformations are horizontal, then there's a problem. Like this. This shows transformation or stretching with the stretch factor 1 over b, and this shows minus c0, that is horizontal stretch towards left. You see the sign is changed always. How to do it? Here you should do first part which is being added, that is the opposite of normal mathematical operation. You do the translation first, then you perform the stretch. You replace or multiply x by 1 by the reciprocal of this, because when the factor is 1 upon b, you should write b there. You should know it. Whenever you perform horizontal transformation, the stretch factor is always reciprocal to this coefficient of x. So here you use opposite to the order of normal mathematical operation. Repeat these two slides at least one more time and take notes, because when we do the practice, we are applying these properties there. Hopefully the idea is clear. Now what next? The next is, you may have one horizontal transformation and you may have one vertical transformation, like stretch horizontally along x-axis and then shifting vertically up. For example, if I'm writing here sine 2x plus 3, so you see this transformation is horizontal and this one is vertical. How to treat this? In what order? The good news is the order does not affect. You can do anything first. You can stretch first, then shift vertically, or you can say you can apply horizontal transformation first, then vertical, or you may apply vertical first, then horizontal. The result will not be affected, and we'll see in the example later on. So these 3 slides will give you the rules for combined transformation. Right? These 3 slides will give you the rules for combined transformation. Now starting with examples. A very basic example, some easiest of the example, x square. Note down please, if the examiner is giving you a specific order, first do this and then do this and then do followed by this, then you have to follow the instructions. Like first we do translation here. -4 means shifting towards left. When you have -4 shifting towards left, but how to write this? You write fx plus 4. This function becomes x plus 4 square. I've shown step by step. Now reflection in the y-axis. After shifting this, then you reflect in the y-axis. First we have done the translation 4 units towards left. Now reflect in the y-axis. This is your mirror, the y-axis. This is your mirror. Reflect in the y-axis. You see the complete reflection of this blue graph to the red graph. Equal distance from the y-axis. Now translation vertically with +2. You see this upward, vertically upward, move this by 2. You see step by step. And see this also. I've changed the sign here because movement in the y-axis reflection and moving upward. And finally stretch parallel to y-axis with a factor of 3/2. So we should write 3/2 in front of the function because the stretch vertical here. And this is our final function like this. If you see the equation and the graph, this is my final graph. Pause the video here. Please pause the video here. I request pause the video here. Don't go fast. Repeat this example. This is my suggestion, advice or instruction. Repeat this example so that you get the idea clear. And while doing the example, use your pencil, your notebook, try to draw, try to do the working, get the idea clear, then move forward. Now students, moving to the next example. Here we have again a function of which is quadratic, x square. We have 4 transformation. This followed by means you have to follow this order, whatever the instruction given by the examiner. First translation here, then reflection, then again translation, then stretch parallel to y-axis. If I show with the diagram, these are the rules I've written as a summary here. This is for translation, reflection in the x-axis, the y-axis. SF means stretch factor. So you can get this key. Now first step, what should we do? It's 4 here. Translation horizontally, I should write x minus 4 whole square. Reflection in the y-axis means you need to replace the domain value by negative, replace x by negative. Replace x by negative. Then what's the next step? Translation vertically downward. To this function, subtract 2. See here, subtract 2. Please follow these steps. And finally, stretch factor 3 parallel to y-axis. We are here. 3 means you multiply the whole function by 3, something like this. This is the result of these 4 translation. Your x square function now will be this function. See here, this is the function. Pause the video here. Do it yourself, get the idea clear. Inshallah, you get the command over this chapter. Again, one more example. Same thing, but different order. Now we have stretch first, parallel to y-axis, then translation, then reflection in the y-axis, and you see horizontal translation. Steps. Now here we have stretch parallel to y-axis, meaning you are here, parallel to y-axis. By scale factor 3, multiply by 3. Then you have translation vertically, add 2. You see, add 2. This property, this. Then you have reflecting the y-axis. Whenever you're reflecting the y-axis, you are here. Change the sign of the x domain. but because of square it makes no difference, you see. And finally, horizontal translation, negative here. So when you replace that or show the effect in the function, you need to add 4 in the domain. A very systematic approach. In this lecture, you need to pause the video for every example, try to do it yourself, then proceed. Now we have a function root x transformed to minus this. Examiner is asking, write down 2 possible ways of getting gx. 2 possible ways. There are multiple possibilities. I'm showing with this working. Option 1, this was original function. If I subtract negative 2, that is if I do something like this, x minus 2, meaning translation, you may write in this way also, 2 0, horizontal translation. Then you see the sign of x being changed now from positive to negative, reflection in the y-axis. That's it. You have to show these 3 steps. This was the original function, we have translation horizontally and then reflection. One of the ways to get negative x minus 2 under root from root x. Option number 2. And what is my option number 2? If I do reflection first in the y-axis, then I have a different translation here, because if this x being added with 2, it means you're moving towards left, and when you open the bracket you get the same result. Try to do this graphically also, then you get a very clear picture of the 2 transformation, and ultimate result is same. You see here, that was the function root x, and note down, if it is y square is equal to x, then you have a graph like this, and that won't be a function, because a vertical line test, if you have watched my first video, the vertical line test shows if a vertical line intersecting a curve at more than one point, that curve does not represent a function. But when you say y is equal to just root x, only one sign, that is, you have taken a part of it like this, it is a function now, fx. In the first case, what we have done first, we have done the translation first, 2 units. I've moved the function by 2 units first, like this. Suppose I've moved the function like this by 2 units. Then you have the reflection in the y-axis, reflect this red function, something like this. Reflection here, and this is your gx, like I've shown here in the graph. Clear? In option number 2, what have we done? First we have done the reflection. In option number 2, first we have done the reflection like this. Reflection. Then we have a translation of minus 2. Move this graph towards left by minus 2. And you are on the same position. Pause the video here. Repeat this slide. My request, at least one more time. I'm sure you get the idea, the concept crystal clear, inshallah. Next part. A question from the past paper. Function is given there, x square, which is f function, not transformed to gx. Examiner is asking the 2 ways of showing this transformation. What are 2 ways? One thing is very clear. There is some stretch, you see this gap of any point, and this gap is changed, you see here. And secondly, a very clear horizontal translation. So you know there's a stretching and translation horizontally. When you got this idea clear, if I want the translation first, 4 0 like this, this graphical approach is very effective in the understanding of function. Please, my request, my instruction, my guidance, do learn how to sketch the graphs. If you have the skills of working with the graphs, function is like a piece of cake. So now we have moved this graph at 4. Now this gap is 4, but we want this gap as 2. It means if we take the stretch factor half like this, every point from the y-axis now at the distance of half. This is object, the blue is object, and your image is this red one, the final graph, and the shape is changed. You got the idea? If you want to write, suppose this is your fx function. So what about gx? Your gx function will be f x minus 4 times 2. Is that clear? Because it's always reciprocal of this. We have done at the beginning. If there are two horizontal translation, we follow the reverse order. See this? I follow the reverse order because both the translation are horizontal. Is that clear? Hopefully that clear. Now option number 2. Examiner is saying write down two different ways. What about the second option? The second option I've shown here. This first I've done the stretch, but now this stretch, horizontally stretch here, is factor half. Is this clear? Horizontal stretch with factor half. The distance of every point now becoming half. You see here, if I set a point, suppose here this point is here, half of this, every point coming at the distance of half. Suppose this is at 2, this is half. Now move this towards right, followed by this translation. Clear? But yes, horizontal translation towards right. This is another possible way of showing this. There are two ways to describe this transformation. First we have done the stretch, then translation. Examiner now asking, write down the equation of graph y gx. I've used the first combination to write the equation. This was the translation we did in the first combination, remember? So how to show it in the function? Yes, with this 4 here you subtract 4 from x from domain. Then what we have done, horizontal stretch with stretch factor half, that is you multiply x by 2, and this is your result finally. See here, this is the question, which is very much exam style question, but only those students can do this comfortably, those who have the clear idea of graphs especially. Please pause the video, repeat this video or this lecture or this slide especially, and get the idea clear. Now again, there are two different ways of a graph not defined, whether it's a quadratic or linear or whatever graph we don't know. Now transform to this. I have two options. I'm going fast. Try to get the idea. First I've done the translation because of this 10. Then I want 2 here. This shows horizontal stretch with scale factor, stretch factor half. That's it. SF means stretch factor. The second option I'm having, if I first do stretching and then, yes, the horizontal translation won't be having by -10 but -5, because when you open the bracket you get the same result. Pause the video. Just pause it. Hold on. Pause the video. Note down. Take notes. Do it yourself. Get the idea clear. Repeat it. Get the idea clear. Draw the graph. Get the idea clear. Then move forward. Now find the equation of the image after each of the following combined transformation. Now we want the equation with these two transformation: stretch horizontally parallel to x-axis, then translation, and this is second part. I'm doing this first part. Stretch factor 2 means you write here reciprocal horizontally. Note down this property. Open the bracket. Now translation horizontal sign change. That's it. This is a graph, the final graph. I have not shown the steps here. Graph is not required in fact, but to get the idea clear, you can take help from the graphs. Here you have first the translation, then the stretch. Now the example number 2. First the translation. This plus 5 means you put here -5. Then you have stretch scale factor 2. It means you write here reciprocal 1/2, and your final equation be like this. This is your final equation. Hopefully the idea is much clearer to my students. You can run this video multiple times, pause, run, connect to the book. There are students who are using the videos for their past papers, for their understanding. I just got a message from a student, sir, I'm watching your video and I'm doing the past papers. I pause, I get that concept, link with the past papers. This is a good resource for the students to get the idea clear about the functions in terms of two videos. The first one was about the inverse function, mainly the range and domain, and the composite function. This video is about the transformation. Now, question from the past paper. A good question again from trigonometry, because trigonometric functions are there. This is your main function, cos. If I highlight this with this red ink, this is the given function. Transform to this function. Examiner is asking, in terms of cosine, find the equation of other function. There are two things very clearly. This shows horizontal stretch. You see, this gap is what? 1 pi, and this gap is 2 pi. Scale factor is twice. Scale factor is twice. It means if you start with a cos, you should write half x. Reciprocal, one thing. Okay, you see here 1 is going to 5. It means it's not simply vertical translation. There's one thing more, vertical stretch also, because if I take this gap is of 2 units, but what about this gap is of 4 units. So we have vertical stretch of 2. We have vertical stretch of 2, meaning yes, we have vertical stretch of twice. That is, you write 2 here also. That is, if I simply doing the vertical stretch on this graph, I have something like this. Please pay attention. You see here 1 goes to 2 and this -1 goes to -2. Vertical stretch by 2 units. Now from that point, if I move this upward by 3 units, 2 plus 3 is 5 and -2 plus 3 is 1, and you have to add plus 3 also. This is the final equation for 3 marks because it involves 3 transformations. A very good question that may give a challenge to the student if they don't have the clear idea. Please do it yourself, and then you get the idea clear. Right, now we have done this chapter of transformation. I'm sure you know what you have learned. What are you learning here? And you're not just memorizing or the rote learning, and you know why and how these properties, these features, these transformations work graphically especially, and you know where this can be used. Thank you, dear. Enjoy your learning. If you have any question, you can post in my comment section below this video. Allah Hafiz.